We're in Chapter 5, Section 2, problem number 3. So it's saying use figure 12.2 to find the probability indicated. So we're talking about figure 12.2, as we said before, as we looked at, that's the table of the standard normal probability distribution, or the cumulative distribution function. So looking at this, we're looking at what's the probability that minus 2.15 is less than z, which is less than 1.09. So in this case, what we've been doing is looking at the probability that z is less than minus 1.09, and subtracting from that, z is less than minus 2.15, and what remains is what's in between those two. So what we're going to do is the probability that z is less than 1.09, that's negative 1.09, and so subtract off the probability that z is less than minus 2.15. So the minus 1.09 is a larger number than minus 2.15, so this would be a greater value, subtracting off the lesser value of the 2.15. That would give us the probability of what's in between. So I better label this A, huh? So A. So we need to look up in the table the cumulative distribution of probability that z is less than minus 1.09. So we'll look up minus the row, or minus 1.0, then go over to where we have the column labeled 0.9, so that would give us minus 1.09. And let's see, when we look that up, we're at 0.1379. That's a 9, not an 8. I'm trying to draw an 8 for some reason. And we're going to look up likewise from our table, z is less than minus 2.15. So row 2.1, column that's 0.5, that's going to be 0.0158. And when we subtract that off, we get 0.1221 is our probability that z is between minus 2.15 and minus 0.09. Okay, similarly for B, same kind of thing, right? When we're doing the probability that z is less than 0.55, and subtract off from that the cumulative probability that z is less than minus 0.93, which will give us the result of where z is between those two. So at 0.55, then 0.7088 in the table. And we're going to subtract off 0.1762. And when we subtract those, we get 5326. Continuing in a similar fashion, right? So we're going to have cumulative probability that we're less than 2.11 here in C, minus the probability, the cumulative probability that z is less than 0.68. And we'll look up again in our cumulative standard normal distribution table, figure 2.2, probability that z is less than 2.11. We're going to be in row 2.1, column at 0.1. So let's see, that'll be 0.9826, and subtract off the probability that z is less than 0.68. So row 0.6 over to column 08, and that is 0.7517. And we subtract those off, we get 0.2309. Very good. I think the biggest challenge here is right here. You can see that my z is almost the exact same looking as my 2. So I need to work on distinguishing those letters.